Hello, beloveds. Welcome to the Black Mirror Oracle. Today, as I was scrying, first I saw Medusa holding a head. Right? Medusa being the old mythological creature who can turn men into stone by looking at them, and who has a hair of snakes. And then I saw two broken pedestals side by side. And so what I'm getting from this is the idea of demythologizing certain things in your life, especially people. If there's someone in your life who you mythologize as being, oh, this is the only soulmate for me, I'll never be happy with anybody else, or demythologizing a certain job. Oh, I have to have this certain job or I won't be happy. Medusa holding the head is basically saying, so this mythological creature who has torn the head off of somebody, right? We usually think of a man holding Medusa's head. And so she's basically, you have this myth saying, no, I'm going to take control and I'm not going to let, anybody else tell me or trick me into holding on to dreams the way that they have been painted for me. Just as one example, to demythologize love would be to ignore the way movies and society presents healthy love versus what healthy love actually looks like, which is like a friendship that you build over time, not mistaking a chemical rush for true love, right? And so the other thing with the pedestals, two broken pedestals, think about that. Are you putting a certain thing, a certain person, a certain idea up on a pedestal? Or is there anyone in your life that's putting you on a pedestal? And it can feel good to be up on that pedestal, right? But it's not good for you. It's a distortion of love. It's a distortion of admiration. Don't you want to be seen as the full human you are? Both divine and human. Both mentally and emotionally elevated, but then sometimes you can be vulnerable and cry. You can't do that on the pedestal. So, like I said, demythologizing, even putting them on a pedestal, seeing the best in a person and being supportive is different than putting someone on a pedestal, right? All right, you got Bee Goddess for your first oracle. This is interesting because, each in beehives, there's the queen, just one queen, then everyone else is different kinds of workers. And what I get from this is centering yourself helps demythologize other people, right? Become the main character of your story. When you put your attention on someone or something else, a certain dream or anything, you make that the center of your reality instead of making yourself the center of your reality. Things and people become special because of your attention. Now, of course, everyone's special in their own way. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying in your life, things become special because of your attention. I swear. These cards are just really, really, really repetitive. So for your shadow card, you got this one with the money bag being lighter than a feather, representing Mayat, and her scales, that your heart must be lighter than a feather. So I feel like for a lot of you, this could be a career thing, that maybe you're like, oh, if I can just get to this one place in my career, if I can become the queen bee, the top person, then finally it'll heal some broken things in me. Because, maybe you were raised in lack, or you were raised with a lack mindset instead of abundance mindset. And, you want to the power that this has over you. You want to, the expressions, you want to cut the head off the snake, kind of with Medusa holding the head, right? So the idea is that to not let it control you, because actually, interestingly enough, if you chase these kinds of dreams, you might achieve them. And you know what? Achieving them can sometimes be the most life-shattering thing. I have this theory that like midlife crisis is manufactured because we're taught so many things for the first 30, 40 years of our lives. And when we get to that place in our lives where we have all the things, we see that they aren't what we thought they were going to be. We have a breakdown. Oh my God, I just spent 40 years of my life invested in something that was not even remotely real or remotely what I wanted or remotely what I believed in. Your other shadow card, a man sitting on a bench with all these letters. That your mind can get very overwhelmed. And like I said, when you have these kinds of crises in your life where you realize you were chasing money or you were chasing a certain person instead of chasing love, real love, you were chasing an idea, whether that be in your career or your love life or whatever. And with that card too, I feel the idea of like kind of having an inner knowing in the background with all those letters, but kind of he's holding the newspaper up like he's like, oh, I'm not going to see this right now. A lot of times these kind of things are kind of living right below the surface, and you can kind of get a feeling for them, but they have to come up. And sometimes it takes like a big event or something to finally crack that open so that you can really accept the reality. You can only accept and see what you can in any moment. A star in the night. You know, there's a lot of starry energy right here. So in this card, she's looking in a sort of a glass container and it's full of stars. To demythologize other things is to bring divinity and importance and amazement back to yourself. And some people who are truly narcissistic will try to say that you're being narcissistic or selfish. But you can't care for other people. A, if you haven't cared for yourself, and B, if you've put them on pedestals, or if you let them put you on a pedestal. Because a pedestal is a sort of a mask, right? For example, when it comes to attachment theory, avoidance put people on pedestals so that they don't have to face the real interactions, the real nitty-gritty, the real messy parts of relationships. A person who's put on a pedestal may be embodying a certain archetype, like the siren, you know, or the basically the Ava complex, which is like Ava would be like Ave Maria, the holy one, and Ava being Eve, the corrupted one. This is a, you know, it's just like a theory thing, but so when you're up on that pedestal, you might be embodying one of these. So then that person who has put you there, or that you've allowed yourself to be on there and you've kept yourself there, they never get to see the real you. And then when you start getting scared that if they see the real you, they're not going to love you and accept you. So it can start a really toxic cycle, right? Void moon, do nothing. It's time to sit with yourself for a while. Maybe don't get into any entanglements. Give yourself time to demythologize it. If I feel like for some of you, you've been out of a relationship really recently and you're having trouble demythologizing it. For others of you, the relationship you're in now may be becoming naturally demythologized as the magic wears off and you start, the blinders of love are falling away and you're seeing the real patterns that you ignored. You're seeing the red flags you ignored. Doesn't make you a bad person. Like I said, you're fighting so much conditioning around this. So much conditioning around this. So take time, do nothing. It's saying meditate, focus on yourself, quiet your inner voice so that you can hear that intuitive voice that's underneath it. It's going to lead you in the right direction. But right now, your mind is crowded with all these other voices, all these other programs, all this other conditioning. You know, I always think of too with this, like I used to do beekeeping some, and when you're working with bees, all you can hear is like zzz, like buzzing, buzzing, buzzing as they're flying around your head. So you want to clear your mind. Be a star in the night. I think of, yeah, like just the quietness. Moonlight Serenade, change your tune. Yeah, it's time to switch this up completely. Change your tune. Listen to your inner guidance. You can't hear that Moonlight Serenade. You can't hear your intuition if you're always being overwhelmed with noise. If that noise is telling you to lift other people up higher than yourself. You know what's funny? If you meet the right person, whether that means romantically or as a friend or something, then you can mutually put the other person ahead of you. So like, for example, if there are two people and they're both givers, it's okay to say, okay, I'm going to give them a bunch because they're going to give you a bunch. But the first thing you have to do is take care of yourself, and the right person's going to understand that. But you can naturally fall into a sort of a groove where you're both giving, right? But most people are not givers. Most people are takers. How many times have you met a person who you mythologized, who you put up on that pedestal, and then only to realize later that they couldn't even, like, hold a conversation or ask you, they don't ask you questions about yourself. They don't ask you who you are. They aren't curious. You have to ask them to be curious about you and your inner world, you know. So you mythologize someone who couldn't even hold a conversation, right? You deserve better than that. You know who can hold a conversation? You. So, like I said, if you're going to put anyone on a pedestal, put yourself on one for yourself, never for another person. You don't want to... You want to be fully human and fully divine. So we're going to pull these cards and get started on your channeled tarot reading. Now, it's kind of funny because in this one, I feel really scattered, even though I know that it's been focused around demythologizing. And I think it's because it can feel very wishy-washy, like you need to go back and forth with this energy. This energy feels very, very back and forth. And like you're like, oh, of course I don't want to be on a pedestal. Oh, of course I don't want to lift this person up and not see them wholly. But then in the next minute, you might be like, oh, but it feels so good because it feels natural. It feels normal. Not because it is natural, normal, or good, but because if you were taught that at a younger age, your nervous system feels safe there. Your conditioning feels like it's going to fall into the old neural pathways, and it's going to be like, what a relief, even if that relief is actually really toxic for you. Okay, so let's get started with your channeled reading. Beloved, a cycle is ending for you with this World card. A cycle of pushing yourself down, of mythologizing specific people or situations into something that can never be lived up to, or mythologizing yourself to other people into someone you can't live up to because you deserve to be seen as the full human that you are. But on the other side of this very painful transition with this sun energy, this transmutation is going to bring so much lightness. It's going to lift so much weight off of you. The severity of confusion within your emotions, the work that you've been doing so much inner work, and you kept wondering, is this doing any good? It feels like I'm just stuck in the same energy over and over and over again. Yet, in the unmanifest, in the energy of the Fool, in your subconscious, the work has been being done that will bring you from that energy, from that severity, into a warmer version of your emotions, while also simultaneously being empowered. And you'll be able to stand on business, stand on your boundaries much more fully. With this Emperor energy, we're getting on a throne, not a pedestal. So recognizing your true sovereignty, not letting yourself be divine and grand for who you really are, wholly, not for a projected image. And this is holy work for you. This is deep transmutation with the Tower crashing through clarity, the lightning bolt of clarity, to bring in this High Priestess Empress energy here. You have a lot of major arcana here, okay? That means this is a huge transmutation in your life. To even understand that you are mythologizing or pedestal yourself or another person. But you're ready to see things clearly as they are. And like I said, sitting on your own, we have the Emperor and the Empress here. This is fully in your power without the need to project masks or project certain versions of yourself. And with that comes abundance, with the Six of Pentacles energy. Abundance of spirit, abundance of heart. And the funny thing is once you get in this energy where you don't need, where you are in an energy of abundance, more abundance will come to you. You'll have more choices, better choices than the kinds of people who would fall in love with your projection or their projection, right? So you'll be letting go of that energy and stepping into the energy of abundance, where you're like, I'm not going to settle for someone who is only in love with a dream of me. I'm not going to settle for the career that drains my light because, society said that this is the best career, or someone in your family said this is the best path for you. I'm going to find my own path, even if it means destroying my illusions. That's the only way I can come back into this holy energy of self and manifest what the abundance, the nurturing, the self-nurturing that I truly deserve, that you truly deserve. Okay, beloveds, thank you for being here today. I'm going to pull a quick Momentum Mori card on our way out the door. Oh, this one jumped. It says, make your move. Playing chess. Make your move. Yes, it is time for you to stop playing games, the games that other people put you in, and make your move towards clarity, towards the closing out of this cycle, towards this sun energy. You've got this. Thank you for being here. Please tell me in the comments below how you are demythologizing a certain aspect of your life. I'm sure everyone would love to hear and support you in your journey. I'll see you next week, Mystic Traveler.